Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcoSports.com. First of all, Happy New Year to everyone out there watching. May it be a prosperous and profitable one for you, may I add. But needless to say, best wishes to all of you, your family, and yourself. And hey, listen, I look at it this way. I was diagnosed back in 2020, back in March of 2020. So every time I get to flip the calendar, I am a very grateful guy, and I don't make resolutions and I don't ask for anything more other than to let's be here in 2025 um, doing this again. That's all I ask for. So, yesterday, you know what they say about the best laid plans, right? Didn't exactly work out the way I had planned it to be. I had two games that I liked yesterday, Tampa Bay and Baltimore. I gave you the Ravens as a free pick. Hell, even here on the video report, I talked about two other games, the Chiefs and the Steelers. Yeah, didn't quite work out the way as I had planned. So, congratulations to the Ravens. Congratulations to another free pick winner in the NFL, as I have now gone 42 and 21 with the complimentary NFL plays over the past 12 weeks. And of course, the Buccaneers just were absolutely obliterated by the New Orleans Saints, a team that I had gone against the previous week when they played against the LA Rams. So I guess I got my comeuppance there. But sometimes it just doesn't work out. But it happens. What can I say? Although losing sucks, I will also say that. So, listen, in today's video report, we've got a couple of little college bowl games. I'm going to take a look at Texas Washington, the late game, and the early game between LSU and Wisconsin. But let me just say something here about this whole college bowl scenario. And I've alluded to it a couple of times on my video reports and, or excuse me, on the website and a couple of times in previous video reports. But uh, it's a broken system. And I don't really see it getting better. And there's a reason that today's pick on Alabama and Michigan is going to be my first college bowl release. I am not a slave to whatever sport is holding the public's attention. The way I always look at it is whatever game is the best bet on the board, no matter the sport, is the play that you should make. Hell, I'm on a 16-6 basketball run, college and pro, short term. In the NBA, I've won 10 of my last 12, 15-time best bets over the past 5 weeks. You know, I don't care if you're betting in Vegas, if you're betting with Danny the bookie down the street, if you're betting at an off or at a local sports book locally. It doesn't matter. When you go up to the window, when you cash out that ticket online, when you meet Danny the bookie at McDonald's on Sunday mornings like I used to do years ago. Yeah, it wasn't exactly an elite restaurant, but what can I say? It worked at the McDonald's. But they pay you just the same. Doesn't matter whether it's a football or basketball best bet. That these college bowl games, they're made for TV events, and the system is broken because in past years, you only had to worry about coaches abandoning their teams, key top tier players opting out to prepare for the NFL draft, or the occasional numbskulls that either got suspended for breaking team rules violations or the guys that were academically ineligible. But everything changed 2 years ago with that thing called the transfer portal. Because now you've seen how it's just upended the apple cart, where between guys opting out to prepare for the NFL, but more guys going into the portal, you've seen one team after another having 15 to 20 players being unavailable. Georgia, Florida State, you had an extreme. You had Florida State with 19 to 23 guys not being available. You had Georgia with only two or three guys not being available. Georgia was the exception to the rule. You can't handicap these teams. The teams that you just got done watching from end of August to the beginning of December, those necessarily were not the teams that you were seeing playing all these games. To me, they were as worthless as NFL preseason games. And in fact, it's easier to make money in the NFL preseason than in these made-for-TV college bowl games. And the system is not going to get any better with the 12-team football playoff next year. Because when you think about it, the way it's currently set up, you're going to have the conference championships games like December 6th and 7th next year. Selection Sunday is going to be the next day. The portal is going to open December 9th. There's only going to be more players going into the portal next year, just like the number increased by 30, 40% this year. The problem is you have the portal opening next year, December 9th, or this year now, and then 9 days later, you have the early signing period. And then December 20th and 21st, you have the first four on-campus first-round games. And remember, before those first four first-round games, you have all the smaller bowl games already being played. They're already underway. Then you have the quarterfinals. Same thing, New Year's Eve, January 1st. Those are going to be like the Fiesta, the Peach Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl. Problem is, coaching staffs are already going to be strained. There's going to be a number of coaching staffs that's going to have turnover, just like this year as well, because they're dealing with the portal, they're dealing with the early signing period, they're dealing with turnover. It's a broken system. And the only thing that will help just a little is if they go back and take the early signing period and move it away from December and move it back into February. Remember in February, it used to be like, it was almost like the Super Bowl. College football fans, it was like the thing they yearned for, and it captured the national attention. Now it kind of gets buried. You can't move the portal. The portal has to open again, still early December. People have said, oh, move the portal back. It's not going to happen because guys got to move into the portal in order to register for school. Yes, they have to go to school, believe it or not. They have to register for school in order to get ready to start classes in January to be eligible for spring practice. That's what people keep forgetting. And also keep remembering this, especially for the smaller bowls and even maybe for some of the first round lower tier bowls. Are guys necessarily going to be motivated to play in these games? Or remember, you get into the portal because first come, first served. You get your choices of transferring to teams and programs that want you because first come, first serve, more money for you, more options for you. It just makes sense. That's why the system is broken. So you're going to hear a lot about it. You're going to hear about the 12-team college football playoff is going to change everything. It's not, unless they change the infrastructure. It's still a broken system. It's why these games are meaningless. So with that being said, let me give you 2 free picks for meaningless games. No, just kidding. One of the games isn't so meaningless. Let's talk about the Washington, Texas game. I'm telling you guys right now, I've gone back and forth on this game. First of all, anybody that talks about last year's Alamo Bowl, which Washington won 27-20, and that game was not even close, forget about it. It means nothing. Because remember, Texas went into that game depleted. Their top 2 running backs, Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, both opted out of that game to prepare for the NFL. And the Texas coach even said going into that game, their game plan was going to throw the ball extensively because they didn't have a running attack. And Michael Penix Jr. had a big game, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, threw the ball 55 times and completed it 32 times. Also for Texas in that game, Xavier Worthy, their number 1 receiver, was not 100%. And the Texas ground game only produced 51 yards on the ground. Just forget about it. It's a different Texas team. So you have a Washington team that comes in here with 20 straight wins. 10 of those wins by a touchdown or less. So they played them close. That's certainly for sure. You got a Texas team that, won at Alabama when Alabama wasn't really Alabama that you're seeing today in week number 2 of the season. But hey, they won in Alabama. You got a Washington team that beat Oregon twice. And I got to tell you, I was on the wrong side when they played in the Pac-10, Pac-12 championship game. I truly thought, giving you a free play that day, that the Ducks were going to beat them in the second go-round, but Oregon dominated in that game. Some of the things here that I think that are going to be kind of interesting here. Even though Texas lost Jonathan Brooks in the 4th of the last game of the season, the 3 guys, and he had rushed for over 1,100 yards to power the ground game. The 3 guys that have picked up the ground game responsibility, C.J. Baxter, Jaden Blue, and I think you pronounce his first name Kylan Robinson. They have a combined average 183.5 yards in 3 full games since Brooks got hurt. You've got a Texas strong defensive line. You've got a bevy of strong, speedy wide receivers for the Longhorns, led by Worthy. You've got a Washington team that has absolutely no pass rush, only 19 sacks on the season. A Washington team that gives up 4.3 yards per carry. But now let's talk about Washington. You've got a quarterback who has seen every type of defense imaginable, and Michael Penix Jr., who constantly delivers. You have an underrated running back in Johnson for the Huskies, who ran for over 1,100 yards and perhaps is coming off the best game of the entire season in the Pac-12 championship game against Oregon when he carried the ball 28 times for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, obviously, Texas is going to be the crowd favorite with this game in New Orleans. But the thing that keeps bringing me back to vacillating on this game, because originally I thought Texas. Two things, actually. One, the line is 4.5, and two, I keep thinking back to Texas, Oklahoma. And I keep thinking how Dillon Gabriel just carved up this Texas defense. Remember, Gabriel just had that monster game, 285 yards passing, 113 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns in the game when he guided the Sooners through the 34-30 win. And the Texas Longhorns defense just couldn't stop him. Michael Penix plays in an offense that is better than Oklahoma's. And Michael Penix Jr. is a better quarterback in my estimation than Dillon Gabriel is. And that's why I keep thinking take Washington plus the points. And I'm at 4.5 now. I don't even have to buy up the half point because this line has escalated a bit. So I'm going to take the team that's won 20 straight points, and I'm going to take them as an underdog here. And the other way I think you play this is this total is at 63.5 points. It seems just a little low for me. This is a battle between two teams that have combined to score 30-plus points in 21 of the 26 games they have played this season. That Texas defense certainly gave up a lot of points to even Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game, okay? Now, it's not inconceivable to see this game being won by the last team that has the ball. It's not inconceivable to me to see this game be 37-34. Now, true, it could be 34-30. It could be 38-34. It could be 41-40. I think the over is a great play in this game, too. So, again, I'm going with Washington, and I'm going with the over. Now, I know it was an extensive breakdown, but listen, it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be the best game to watch today. The other game is not going to be a fun game to watch, but listen, it's a game. It's the ReliaQuest Bowl. Say that 3 times quickly. Being played at Tampa at noon Eastern time between LSU and Wisconsin. Listen, Luke Fickell is going to eventually turn this program around for Wisconsin, but it didn't work out as planned this year because they went out and got Tanner. Well, they didn't go out and get him, but Tanner Mordecai came on in. They got Phil Longo, the offensive coordinator who did wonders down at North Carolina, brought him in. They expected that offense would be finely tuned. They had 2 great running backs coming back. It just didn't work out. Tanner Mordecai, a guy who in his final 2 seasons as the starting quarterback at SMU threw for 7,152 yards and 72 touchdown passes. Well, listen, he missed 3.5 games this year because of a broken bone in his right hand. This season, he comes into this game, 1,687 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. It just didn't work out with the offense, but it will eventually work out. Wisconsin has been hit hard by opt-outs, either guys preparing for the draft or going into the portal. They lost 3 starters on offense, 3 starters on defense, more depth reserve players as well. You know, they lost one of their starting running backs, the 2 guys that shared the job this season early in the year to knee injury, foot injury. I don't know what the hell it was. But their top running back, Braylon Allen, left the program to prepare for the draft. That's a big loss. I just don't think that Wisconsin's going to be able to put enough points on the board. Now, you know that LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels also opted out of the game. And listen, this LSU offense that averaged 46.4 points a game this year is not going to be nearly as explosive or productive without Jaden Daniels in there, because you just do not replace a guy who threw for 40 touchdowns, who threw for 2,800 yards, who ran for 1,100 yards and another 10 touchdowns. You're not finding Jaden Daniels sitting on the bench especially when the guy replacing him, Garrett Nussmeier, is a redshirt sophomore who has, in spot duty over the past 3 years, in 17 games, thrown for 1,300 yards and 8 touchdowns. But this LSU team still has a lot of offensive weapons. And I don't think asking LSU to cover this 9-point number is that big of a deal. So I'm going to go with LSU here. Wisconsin hasn't seen an offense with as many athletic, talented, explosive people on it like LSU has. They didn't face anybody like that playing the Iowas, Nebraskas, Minnesotas, Michigan States, Michigans of the Big Ten. Yeah, it would have been a bloodbath if LSU had its full complement, meaning if Jaden Daniels played, but I still think it's a comfortable way to play the game and go ahead and take LSU minus the 9. Listen, if you can find a team, if you like one other team today a lot and you want to put it into a teaser and take LSU down to 3 or down to 2 and a 6-point or 7-point teaser, I would do that as well. Can't tell you which one that would be, but hey, that's your choice, not mine. So those are the picks today. If I had to rank the plays, boy, that's tough. Yeah, listen, how would I rank them? Just thinking here off the top of my head, doing this live, I would say probably Washington would be right there, number one slot, along with LSU, and then the over and Washington, Texas too. I'm just thinking of something here. Just thinking of something. You know, you could take that total in a 7-point teaser. You could take that total from 63.5 down to 56.5 and play the over, and then take LSU down to 2. That would be kind of cool. You could take Washington up to plus 11.5, up to 11.5, and take LSU down to 2. That could be another cool teaser possibility. So anyway, guys, that'll do it for your New Year's Day report. Remember, if you've never taken advantage of the 2-day free all access pass, why not do it today? Start off the new year right, and you can get all the plays of all the handicappers absolutely free, not only today, but another day. The choice is yours. The 2-day access pass, again, if you've never taken advantage of it, now is the time to do so. And also, just a quick note, if you happen to be at a site, one of the sites where I used to be on, where I'm no longer on anymore, and you no longer find my video report, there's a number of reasons. I'm not going to go into it why I'm not on that site anymore, even though it's part of the company. Just find me over at DeMarcosports.com. It's that easy. It's my last name. So there's where you can find me. And of course, you can always subscribe down there and be alerted to when the videos are available. Good luck. And again, Happy New Year to you all. And we will talk again soon. Take it easy, guys.